We live in a world where we use the words love and hate really loosely. For example, we'll say like, I love Lucky Charms, but I hate country music. Or I love Marvel movies, but I hate cats. Well, to be fair, cats are the worst. So that's all right. But you get the idea, right? We kind of have these, we live in this really love and hate culture. There's no in between. But the problem is, I feel like we don't have a great grasp on what those words really mean. But we are obsessed with love, right? We're obsessed with the idea of it. A lot of our movies have to have a love storyline in it, or the music we listen to, is about love or what we think love is. Americans alone spent about like $20 billion on Valentine's Day last year. Even in church. So in church you'll hear, we talk about, God loves you, or God is love, or that you should love one another. And those are all good things, but we need to figure out what exactly it means. On the other hand, we live in a culture that loves to hate on people, right? Or at least their ideas. Now, we make fun of celebrities, we bash movies and TV shows. We even hate on people in our own lives. Maybe you have like a group text where you do this, or maybe you have a group text that you started so that you could hate on somebody in the original group text. I'm sure you don't have that. I definitely don't. Anyway, we may not say them out loud, but most of us have opinions on everything. And so if love is such a big deal, why does hate, and specifically hating on people, seem to be such a natural part of our lives? This is kind of a big topic. So I want to narrow it down into something a little smaller, easier to grasp, but it's this idea of gossip. So if you're in school, you kind of have an idea of what gossip is probably, and it's probably around you a lot. It might be about you, or you might have heard it. You have to admit, though, that school makes it easier for it to happen. So think about it. You're in the same place all day long. A lot of times, sometimes it's just your day is boring and you need something to pass the time. Talking about people makes things interesting sometimes. I understand. You may be thinking, though, I don't talk about people. But I know people who do all the time. But the truth is, we all do. Don't we? At some point, when it comes to gossip, we all need to take a look in the mirror and ask ourselves if we contribute to this form of hating. Why do all of us have such a strong attraction to trash talking, gossiping, or spilling the tea about people? I think there's a couple reasons why, and here they are. I think the first reason is insecurities. So when you feel insecure about yourself, you might be more likely to talk about somebody else to boost yourself up. Sometimes it even helps you bond with people. So if you are gossiping a lot and you have something particularly juicy to say about somebody, maybe this one group will accept you, because they want to hear it. And I get it. It can feel fun sometimes to talk about people, especially if it's funny. Sometimes even it gives you a leg up, gives you a competitive advantage if you can leak something negative about somebody else that makes you look better, you might win. And sometimes your intentions are innocent, honestly, but you just have that friend that you tell everything to. But the problem is, sometimes you tell everything about somebody else to that friend. So, like I already mentioned, gossip it's a school thing, but it's also not, it's kind of an everybody thing. Adults do it. Your coaches, your teachers, your parents probably do it too. I do it. And it's also not really a guy-girl thing either, right? We just call it different things. So you might call it gossip, you might call it spilling the tea, you might call it trash talking. There's a lot of different ways we go about it, but it's all kind of the same. Although gossip is naturally accepted, it's a naturally accepted part of our culture, there's something inside of us that knows it's not right. If you've ever been talked badly about behind your back and then you found out about it, you know what I'm talking about, because it hurts, right? So why do we think it's okay to do it about other people? And we especially get into trouble when the details we're sharing might not even be true, or we don't know the whole story. It's just not a good idea to get into this. So I want to talk about a little bit about what Paul had to say about this in the book of Ephesians. He was writing to Christians in Ephesus when he says this. It's in Ephesians 4:29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. So that's the first half, and we're going to stop there. Paul wanted the Christians in Ephesus to operate differently. That's why this letter is really just regarding Christians, to address how he wants them to behave in the city. So that so that people would see Christians a certain way. And this word unwholesome, it can also be translated as rotten. So Paul really, he could be saying, don't let any rotten talk come out of your mouths. Now, rotten, you might think, oh, does he mean like cussing or swearing, dropping an F-bomb? And no, that's not really what he's talking about. And they didn't really say that back then anyway. But he's not talking about like swearing. He's kind of talking about words that are hurtful, or words that do damage or cause pain to other people. So gossip, it's basically a rotten talk. It rots our friendships, it rots our relationships, it rots our reputations. Hey, they call it trash talk for a reason, right? I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. That was too cheesy. Please forgive me. But this isn't what we want to produce with our lives, is it? We don't want to be people who put out a rotten vibe, right? When we talk about people or participate while somebody else does, we're actually contributing to the rotting of some of the things that matter the most to us and to the people around us. In fact, not only does it rot things around you, it may actually be an indication of something unwholesome inside of you. Jesus himself talked about this in Mark chapter 7, verse 15. He says this: "It's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You are defiled by what comes from your heart." According to Jesus, what comes out of you says a lot about what's inside of you. When you gossip, it shows something about you. More than the words you speak, it's about the motivation that causes you to say certain things or participate in certain conversations. It's an issue of the heart. So let's go back to Paul. And let's go back to Ephesians 4:29. He gives us an alternative to the unwholesome gossip. He says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." In other words, if you choose to put the needs of others ahead of your own, and when you think about who a person is instead of just judging them, you'll stop yourself from gossip. You'll think about them before you speak about them. If you choose to build others up, care about their needs, and help them, you'll choose words that benefit them instead of words that bash them. Now I do get it. Gossip is really hard to avoid, and sometimes it's hilarious. Sometimes it just feels good. It's hard to be the person that chooses the wholesome talk when everybody else is choosing unwholesome talk. But it's also one of the best decisions you can make. Why? Because what you say about others says a lot about you. Here's what I mean. You know people who trash talk their friends, spread rumors, or always have a mean joke to make about somebody. When you think about that person, you probably think about that part of them. And it seems like hating on people is what they're about. And you probably know people who are the opposite, right? You know somebody who shuts the gossip down or leaves the room or leaves the conversation when they hear gossip. And honestly, there's probably something about that person that you respect. So when it comes to your conversations, it isn't really a question of what to say or not to say. The real question is, what do you want to be all about? Do you want to be known as someone who loves others or a hater? Someone who trashes people or builds them up? The good news is you have a choice, right? You get to decide who you want to be and what you want to be known for. For those of you who follow Jesus, that's why God gives you the power to be different. He wants his people to be known for love and not hate. Just because gossip is fun or normal or just really funny, it doesn't mean it's worth it to participate. Instead, you and I can choose to be about something else. We can speak to the kind of reputation Paul talked about, one where we're known as people who use words to help others, to build others up, and to make their needs a priority. We simply choose love over hate. Think of it this way. Let love be what we're all about. Of all the things we could be known for, let's start with the thing that Jesus said was the greatest: love. But how do we do that? This starts way before words come out of our mouths. It starts with us deciding to care about other people no matter what they do. It then transfers to our words. We all have a way of deciding what we say. None of us would ever admit this, but deep down we know we sometimes decide what to say by answering these four questions. Will it make me look funny? Will it make me look cool? Will it make me look smart? Is it mostly true? These filters often lead to unwholesome, rotten words, but before we know it, something rotten is spreading in our relationships. We need a new question, right? And I really like the word Paul gives us because it ties in perfectly if we want to be people who are about love. And it's this question. Ask yourself this. Is this helpful? Before you and I say anything, we should use this question. In fact, we can put it into practice immediately. As soon as you turn this video off, you can put this into practice and you can ask yourself these questions. Will these words be helpful? Will they build others up? Will they make somebody's life better? When you use the filter of being helpful, it doesn't matter if the story is true, if the joke is funny, or if the tea is particularly good. If it isn't helpful, it isn't worth our words. If we choose to be all about love and we use this filter, the words we should and shouldn't use will become really clear. Think about the difference you can make in your friend group or at home if you chose to think positively and to speak positively about the people around you. It would improve every relationship you have. It would also improve your standing with every person in your life. That alone, to me, is enough to give it a shot. But if you add in the fact that you are honoring God and modeling faith well in your community, it becomes a no-brainer. So why don't we let love be what we're all about?